Today's episode is called Replacing Things That I Didn't Think We Needed to Replace.
Hey Mom, look, the boys are back in town.
So, on today's episode, like I said, replacing things that I never thought we'd have to replace. In this case, being a lower control arm. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. So you can see I got some new tires. I took my 4runner to get aligned at the alignment shop. I had to do the suspension because I thought, they said just do a suspension. We should be able to dial in and blah, 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 blah. Lies. I need to do lower. He said, you probably want to do some lower control arm bushings. I said, $77 a piece, Rock Auto. So I got one for both sides. I do have CV axles to replace those because those are all ripped. While I'm in there, I might as well do it. And then I also have to do sway bar links, which I'm just going to put those on and probably take them back off. We'll see. And then rack and pinion, which I took the rack and pinion off last week, and I almost got it off, but one of the hoses did not want to release on that side, so I ended up not taking it off. Yeah, so let's go ahead and start taking some stuff off. We're going to go ahead and get the wheel popped off. This is a pretty... I would say pretty easy, but of course this is going to take me like a couple hours to do. We're going to get the wheel off first, then we're going to go to the lower ball joint bolt, pop that off. Lower ball joint connector, excuse me, I was mistaken. Those lower ball joints have been replaced a couple months ago, so I'm actually going to run with those. We're going to pop that bolt off, and really it's about it. I mean, other than the tie rod end, on the other side. Tie rod end, suspension bolt, lower ball joint bolt, and then those camber adjusters. Lord only knows how tough those are going to be. So, yeah, let's get to it. I know that looks like 15 seconds to y'all, but it was like 30, maybe 45 minutes for me. Like I said, we got the tie rod off, got the lower out. Now I went ahead and pulled my CV axle. Y'all saw me messing with a screwdriver and a hammer right here. That's gonna be right there. That's gonna be your dust cover. And once that comes off, you're gonna use a 36, take the socket off, spline it on through. I've never opened these up and they don't look too bad at all. Not too bad at all. Those boots definitely need to get redone. And that's exactly why we're doing them. But let me tell you what, those bolts back there for the lower control arm are a 19 and they are going to fight me. I've been hitting them every maybe 20 minutes with some PB Blaster. And we're also gonna hit that whole area down there with all that CV gunk with some awesome. But it's time for dinner, so let's eat. Dinner has been eaten. And I came back out to work on this thing. And if you notice where the positioning of the bolt is for the lower control arm, yes, it is right in the way of the rack and pinion, which the rack and pinion is coming out. I'm going to skip over that in this video. I'll link it because I've already done a rack and pinion in an old video. And I'm going to go ahead and skip over the CV boots. But I'll have a link for it up in the top of the screen and probably in the description as well. So I'm going to pull this off, and we're just going to keep soaking those, and soaking them, until we can get to where we need to get to. But just a quick overview, if you don't want to go watch the 20-30 minute video. Bolt here, bolt right there that you got to access from the top with a 19. That is a very long bolt that slides out the front, and then this Allen key, hitch key, whatever you want to call it. And then up top, you're going to undo your 2 bolts, let the rack slide down, the steering rack slide down, and then there's 2 power steering lines on the other side of that are 17s. So that's a quick overview. So I'm going to get this pulled. We'll holler back, gentlemen. I have the rack and pinion out. I got one hose to take off that I can't take off at the lower end, so I have to take off at the pump. But at the pump, it's seized up. So we're power PB blasting it. I was stupid. I didn't even order caster and camber bolts that are supposed to go right there. And the sleeve is rusted out inside of it. Rusty. I don't know if you can really see it that well, but once I get this thing off, there's no bushings in there. They're gone. They're completely, yep, there you go. Right there. Yeah, non-existent. So, oh, yeah, I'm done for the night. Gotta order some parts. And clean, good gracious, I need to clean under this thing. But yeah, we'll catch y'all. This is the piece of the puzzle that I needed. Camshaft bolts. Yippee! I had to order brand new camshaft bolts. Just because that one is stuck on there. So I'm gonna have to take a Sawzall, multi-tool, something, carefully slide it in between the bracket and the lower control arm and cut those off. So that way it releases the whole lower control arm. I can put the new lower control arm in there, slide in the new bracket or the new bolts, bolts it in, bolts everything up. Well, first I need to redo the CV boot, and then we can move to the other side. Ladies and gentlemen, it's gonna be a very long night. Painstaking. New one is dressed with a sway bar. Got it out. I'm actually degreasing it right now. I'm gonna spray it down, let it sit, and then rinse it off. While that's happening, I'm gonna go in here and work on this CV axle over in the back. Yeah, and I'll get that rebooted, and then y'all will see a time lapse of me putting this back together. Well, there we have it. Suspension is put back on. The CV joint is rebooted and slid in, tightened down, dust cover on. Lower ball joint is attached to the lower control arm now. Sway bar link is still out because I had the sway bar over in the metal pile. And tie rod end is still hanging. So next I'm going to focus on getting the wheel spacer back on there, getting the tire back on there, and getting this sat down and moving to the other side. Yeah, let's do it. All right, so what you just watched was me taking everything off of the lower, getting everything taken care of down there. Then I got a little distracted. As I got everything done, I was taking out that bolt, and then I got at that bolt, and I was like, oh no. The rack and pinion's in the way. Rack and pinion, as you can tell, it still has one hose. There's two hoses. That one's stripped. And that stripped last week. I was pissed. I was so mad. That stripped last week. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to order a new one. It's going to be okay. So I ordered a new one. Well, to get down to the new one, Yeah, I know you can't see it, but to get down to the new one, you have to take the airbox off. So I took the airbox off, got that one down. Then I had to run down and undo the 2 anchors that is on the frame here and on the frame in the front. That was out of the way, pulled it out. This one came out so easy. Oh my goodness, so easy. So now what we're going to do is I got to pop that one up, put the sway bar link on it and put it back up in there. Hi. And I also need to continue with rebuilding these boots. They're just so messy. So messy. And I think I'm going to go in and grab a bite to eat. It is currently like 1:30, so. And I have an alignment at 10:30 in the morning. But I also got to take the dog to the vet at 8. So, this has to be done tonight. I have to get this side lower on, and I have to get the sway bar link and the sway bar connector on there. I have to get it all put back together, and I have to drive it to the alignment. Now, when I did put the other one in, I wasn't even paying attention. Well, you can kind of tell. It has a little bit of camber to it, which is why I'm going for an alignment. But let's see how bad you can really tell it is. I mean, these bushings are non-existent, and you shouldn't be able to turn it like that. That's no good. That one's not bad. And I do need to pull the bump stops off these to go on the new ones. All right, let me get that CV boot redone, and then y'all will watch the time lapse of me putting it all back together. Whew. Maybe I'll get some sleep tonight. Who knows? Well, I was bouncing around last night. I forgot to film putting it back together. But here it is, all put back together. Lower control arm is in. CV boots are rebooted, looking great. And I'm actually cleaning right now. That's why it's all gunky. And we're still missing the rack and pinion. So those are the old ones. Since it's daytime, you can actually see. Ham is going to show you. You can actually see really how just terrible and shredded they were down in the crevice of that. Like I said, those spin, and you don't want those to spin. Yeah, that is terrible. Yes, so rack and pinion. I still have another video on the channel about it. I gotta get this piece separated and off. So I'm just hitting it. I've been hit. I was like 4:30 last night. I finally got to it, and I got that side rebuilt. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to bed, and I'm just gonna douse this in PB Blaster. And that's exactly what I did. So we're just gonna keep dousing it. I've been prying at it, like trying to separate it right there. As you can see the grooves in there a little bit. I've been trying to pry at it. Once I pry that off, I'd be able to slide it right over my brand new one over here on the table. Yeah, I'd be able to slide it right over that, and then you just put the nut in and it clamps down on it. So I'm gonna focus on getting this back in, or getting the new one in. So we got 7 threads on this one. We got 10 on this one, just like the old setup. I'm pretty much just trying to do the exact same thing. That way I can get it to the alignment shop and get it realigned. Let me get that thing in the truck. Ladies and gentlemen, it is finished. I have some kind of nasty camber, but that's all right. I got 2 hours before my alignment, so I'm happy. Just one step closer to being a better daily driver and a lot more comfortable. Love it. I think it's gonna be really helpful. So, y'all come back and see us on Shag Shop here at the channel. We'll see y'all next week. Boo. You thought it was the end of the video. I lied. So I just went and got my alignment and I wanted to share it with y'all. So this is what the front was sitting at on the left side. It was 0.5 degrees, and on the right side it was 0.6, which is terrible. It's really bad. He said you should be at like -2 ideally. So he got me down to 1 degree and -1. He said for some reason the camera doesn't want to, something with the new parts being stiff, this, that, and the other. He said let it settle and we should be able to get it. He got those casters pretty much dead up. So I had a -3 and a -2.3, and he got me down at a -0.2 on both, and then a 14 degree toe on both. So no steer ahead, no total toe is a whole lot better. But yeah, 10 out of 10. I love it. So y'all have a great, I just like looking at diagrams. Y'all have a great day. Get out of here. We'll see you next week.